So today, let us discuss the importance of structured training, right? Because what all we are doing as of now, wherever you are joined, is structured training. And what is the difference between structured training and then you go on train yourself, or do your some research and continue Google research and think that you can train? Yeah, nothing wrong in that. But if you can manage that in a structured way, so that's what we are going to discuss today. It's about importance of structured training, right? So yeah, the first place, do we need training at all? Right? You can run, anybody can run, and just go out and run. Right? Why you need training? So do we need training at all? So first, let us understand, right? Where what is our group? And our group is what typically referred to as leisure athletes, right? Leisure means you're not professionals, or you don't get any monetary gains from doing this activity, right? None of us. But we still are athletes because we, like professional athletes, we also dedicate a lot of our time, a lot of our life uh, into this. So in that sense, we are also athletes. Of course, I am under no misconception that we have that kind of intensity as professional athletes. Their intensity is whatever we do into X, 3X, 5X. But said that, we spend a lot of time and effort into doing that. So this is a for us, this is a positive diversion from daily stressors and want to be enjoyable. Right? That's why everybody is here. Many of us want to better our health parameters like weight, cholesterol, etc., and want to enjoy the social interaction and camaraderie. Right? This is what all we are. And then, if that's the case, right, then why should we, take stress of training, goals, etc.? That's a typical question might come in everybody's mind when we are discussing the training. Okay? That's where should we train at all? Because if we are coming it for an enjoyable activity, just trying to reduce our weight and enjoy social interaction, then why all of this? Right? So just think back 5 years prior to taking this activity, or 2 years, or 1 year if you had started just now, or maybe even 1 week, 1 month, right, before starting this. Uh, what were you doing? Were you involved in what was your physical activity levels, right? Were you involved in doing 120 minutes of moderate or intense workout per week? What was your range of mobility? What was the extent of use of body systems like musculoskeletal, cardiovascular? Where you were just prior to starting this, right? So what happens is any machine start rusting, right? If you don't use it, and making it again efficiently, that needs a lot of sustained effort. And this marvelous machine, which is called human body, is actually no different. It is similar problems it has. So we need to get out of that rust uh, and start getting that efficiency back. This is for, of course, people who have started just now. But in this call, there are many people who are also been doing this for so long. I don't think they need a lot of convincing that this about the structured training, but the benefits and components, etc., of structured training is what we are going to discuss in a bit. Uh, so what happens is we are in an era of instant results, right? Within 1 month, we want to run a marathon, or If you're cycling or things like that, you want to go for a 100-kilometer ride, and the results are injuries. And that leads to discontinuation of the activity, tiredness, and you're not enjoying it. And of course, then your loved ones say that why you are doing it, you're just wasting money. Right. So all of these are the outcomes if you don't train properly. And that's why training comes into picture. And we are going to understand what are the components, etc. Right. So what are the benefits of structured training? First, we try to minimize injuries. Injuries are part and parcel of any sport you do. Yeah, there are going to be some injuries. It's common for anything which we do repetitively. So if you sit in your chair for 8 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, and you're going to get injured. You are going to get that lower back pain. So sports injuries are common because we do them repetitively. Those actions are done repetitively, and that's where chances of injuries. So training will try to minimize that. Uh, Training, if you go with a structured training, you can enjoy this activity for years to come, because injuries, tiredness, mental fatigue will not cut down your participation in the activity. Right. Then you can explore our limits by setting some goals and going after them. Right. So exploring our limits is something what a human being keeps on trying. That's where you have done 10 kilometers and now you want to do 21. You want to do 42. Those who have done 42 want to do, right? Or those who want to improve their speed while they are in 42, right? Or they are in 21 or 10. They keep on going, coming back to that and improve it. So every year, shall we go for a 10 kilometer? Of course, you have to explore your ability to run the 10 kilometer faster and faster. Right? That's a human nature. We want to explore our limits, but doing that randomly doesn't help. So we have to set some limits and plan for it. Right? And then you set some goals and achieve it. And we are going to talk about goals as we go along. So we are talking about our sport, running, but it is the same thing for any sport. When you start with any sport, you build a foundation. It's a period of 6 months, a year, or depending on the sport, it can be 2 months or 2 years. But for any sport, build foundation. The foundation period for any sport is never less than 2-3 years. Yeah, when you send your kids to the sports, whichever sport they are learning, you will see that 4 years, 5 years is they are building the foundation. After that, you see a lot of results coming in, and that's where they started acquiring skills. And if they continue beyond 5-6 years, is where they start becoming champions in that sport, because that's where they get into a gaining efficiency period. So those of you who are in this field of running for more than 4 years would have done 2-3 half marathons. Now you have built a phase, your basic foundation for a half marathon. Now you have to acquire skills for the half marathon. It's of course not a black and white process, it's a continuum. But yeah, you get into a phase of acquiring skills. Then you have a control about after 20 kilometers, after 15 kilometers, how till 15 kilometers, how I hold my pace back. That's a skill you acquire by doing that half marathon 4 times, 5 times, right? Uh, and then afterwards, you get into a phase where you start learning how I run efficiently, how I use my hydration, how I will do the proper nutrition part. All of that starts happening much after that. Yeah, so that's how it works, and that's how the training moves, right? The physical components, technical components, tactical components. These are various aspects of the training, what we keep on learning as we go along. So just because we have done a 10 kilometer, that doesn't make us, the optimal in that phase. And that's where training comes into it. And then the most important is the psychological component. Right? That actually comes as a part of gaining efficiency. And those, especially who are doing this regularly, the experienced runners, now would have started understanding how the psychological component comes into picture. Right? Reflect back on your races and how now you're better equipped psychologically to manage that stress, how your body is feeling, you are tired, and how you are still overcoming that. Some of you get very tensed when I give you some goals, and this is about experienced runners in this group. Right? There are some goals you set, so you have to run sub 50, and at the very when the event starts coming near and you start feeling that stress, and there are a lot of excuses which starts coming into your mind. This is all the psychological component, right? And that's how any human being works. Even the topmost athletes also go through all of this, right? So remember this pyramid. I will be talking about this pyramid in a lot of sessions when I have interaction with you. Build foundation, acquire skill, and gain efficiency, right? So the experienced runners or even the new runners, please understand that once you do 10 kilometer, you want to do 21, then you want to do 42, and then you think, what, I've done 42, all the bucket lists items are clicked, and why do I continue training? That's because you're just explored or scratched the surface of your potential. If you spend time more, you will be able to explore your potential more. There are runners who come to me and say that I want to do 50, and when I ask them question, why you want to do 50, and they don't have answer, because they said, no, I want to explore how far I can go. But then you can stick to 42 and explore how fast you can go. It need not always be far, it can be fast. That's your limit. And as a human being, we want to explore our limits. So why not stick into 42 and explore it? Why not stick into 21 and explore how fast you are? Why not stick to 10K and figure out how fast you are? So what happens is many of you come and want to continue in 10K. But are you ready to explore your limits is what you have to understand. You have to ask yourself that question, or I want to stick to 10 kilometers because I don't want to put in effort. I'm shying away from hard effort. Is that the cases? These are things what you have to answer for yourself, right? As a coach, I can push you to do it. But these are the things what you have to start answering for yourself. You have to explore those questions. I'm, of course, here to help you. You can discuss with me about this. But that's your progress. That's your progression in this sport, right? Now, training for endurance sports, and our sport is endurance sport. This is the last part, what I'm going to consider as part of my discussion today. When we say endurance, we work through a lot of this, and I am a kind of a coach who doesn't want to talk a lot of technical terms and confuse you guys, because where we started, right? We are here for enjoyment. Doesn't matter, whether you are doing a VO2 max or a LT workout. If you follow that, you get results. So you will not find me talking too much about periodization, about LT training, about VO2 max. That doesn't mean all of this, what you read on Google, are not part of our training. Yeah, so all of that we do as part of our training. Now that we are discussing, I'm just talking about that a bit. So we work on your muscular endurance. We work on your aerobic threshold. We work on your anaerobic thresholds, that is LT. Yeah. Then we work on your VO2 max. We work on lot of such things. Yeah, we work on your speed endurance. The various workouts are for these. And at some time, we will get into, now that we have covered this topic, at some time we will get into discussions about understanding each of those workouts. Yeah, why we do it. Actually, it doesn't matter why we, you have to understand why we do it. If you do it, you just get the results. And that actually should be your focus, and not getting into the science of why we do it, unless you want to be a coach and continue doing that. Till that time, your job is to just enjoy the progression what you're making. And then the second part of this endurance sport is movement economy. Why it is important, that movement economy? Because we repeat that movement over 10,000 times if we are doing about 10,000 times if we are doing a 10 kilometer, about 21, 22,000 times if you are doing a 21, about 44,000 times. This is about, yeah, depending on your height, your stride length, etc. It will change, but it will be around that range. So about 40 plus 40,000 plus time if you are running a full marathon, 45,000 around, right? So that means whatever that movement has to be, that movement has to be economical. If you are going to repeat it 45,000 times, if you improve 0.1 second of that movement, then you get 45,000 into that 45,000, and that comes to be in some minutes, right? So movement economy, now there is a strength training, there is speed, there is mental fitness and recovery and regeneration. So a lot of these things are going to happen in your training. They keep on happening in this training, and we work on all of these aspects when you do a structured training. If you are not doing a structured training, you go and read about, strength and start working on that, or speed and start working on that. But that power or strength or speed has only specific importance to your overall running. Yeah, and that mixture of some X percentage of speed, some Y percentage of strength, X percent, Z percentage of your endurance or stamina ultimately makes you a much optimal runner. And that's why we do this training. And in this training, we do basic fitness, gradual increase, efficiency and technique, and etc. etc. Right? So I will stop sharing, and now is the time where we will discuss about your questions. I use this on purpose so that there will be a lot of question into your mind.